do? I'm a fucking trip. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah. What you gonna do? Bad boys, bad boys. Hey, man. I'm gonna get copyright like a motherfucker, man. Oh, get copyright like a motherfucker. I don't care. A little bit in the circle don't hurt nobody. Guys, let me adjust my light over here. You guys can't see. Let me knock this down just a little bit. There we go. Happy Friday the 13th. Ah, damn, what up? Friday the 13th. The day before Valentine's Day. This is your boy, Savar Matner. This is going to be a premiere, by the way. Didn't have time to live stream this week. Last week, I was out of town. This is my anniversary week. I made 19 years this past Tuesday, so I'm celebrating my anniversary this week, and especially this weekend. So no live streaming. But I didn't want to leave you guys empty-handed. So I say, you know what? I got a little bit of time, not enough time for a good live stream, but enough time to give you guys something to watch over the weekend. Today, I want to talk about the Super Bowl. I want to talk about the WWE. I want to talk about Donald motherfucking Trump. I also want to talk about the Stephanie Gutner. I can't pronounce her name. The lady for NBC, her mom, Nancy, is missing. This is like week number 2. And of course, Dragonball. And I have a reaction I want you guys to look at. Before we get started, let me check something out real quick. For some reason, I couldn't think of the lady's name. Sorry about that, but it's one of those things. Nancy go through. Wow, I'm actually checking it now. There's an update. FBI identifies men in videos need to go. Of course, we know that. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. But anyway, I couldn't think of her name over Arizona. Anyway, let's start off with the Super Bowl. Okay, the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks, Seabirds, all right, destroyed the Patriots. Hey, Patriots, you know, Atlanta had y'all down 28-3. We all remember what happened back in 2016. The 2016 season, but Super Bowl was in 2017. Super Bowl 51. We all remember what happened down there in Houston. We ain't forgot. We done moved on, but we ain't forgot. Couple of questionable plays, but the Patriots came back and won that game in overtime. It was what, 36 to what, 28, some shit like that, 34-28. You know, we might have let y'all come back and win that Super Bowl. I think Seattle let y'all come back in the fourth quarter and score some points. That field goal kicker for Seattle, his name on the tip of my goddamn tongue. God damn it. What you call letting him go in free agency? Hold on. Let me see. I don't fucking no. Continue, motherfucker. God damn, man. You know what? Everything fucking updated. I'm doing this real time. Jason Myers. I for the life of me, I couldn't think of his fucking name. But I couldn't think of his name. Jason Myers. What team did he come from? He joined the team in 2019. I can't his face because I don't watch Seattle like that. I watch them, but I don't follow them like that. What fucking team he came from? Not the Jaguars. What the Jaguars? Yeah, Jaguars. That's why. Yeah, Jaguars. Jaguars. I couldn't remember. Anyway, Jason Myers. I know you guys can see all that because his name couldn't ring. It couldn't just be on the tip of my tongue. It was faced with name, but Jason Myers kicked 5 field goals in that game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was like 15-0. And then the Seattle Seahawks woke up and start start scoring touchdowns. And then I believe in the fourth quarter, when they knew the game was over with, they just say, fuck it, let the Patriots score a couple touchdowns, make it look somewhat competitive. But y'all got the worst ass beaten in franchise history, I believe, at that Super Bowl. So every time y'all say 28-3 Falcons, I'm going to say 15-0. Third quarter, I believe, too. 15-0. I'm just going to post that score at the bottom after the Seahawks rammed y'all in. Y'all gave Sam Darnold his first ever Super Bowl. Shout out to Sam Darnold. Long overdue. He came here to Atlanta and scorched our ass. Matter of fact, he scorched us last year when he played in Minnesota for the Vikings. I know the Vikings are fucking sick. I know the Verts are fucking sick. This is a zero sugar one. I know the Panthers are fucking sick. The Niners are fucking sick. The Jets are fucking sick. Just a few teams that Sam Darnold played for. Now, that remains to be seen. Can they run it back next season? We'll see. The Patriots, in my opinion, shouldn't even been Super Bowl. They had the easiest schedule in all of football, I believe. One of the easiest schedules in all of the NFL. One of them. If not the easiest one. Atlanta didn't have a field goal kicker. We should have won that game in Foxborough. We just didn't have a company field goal kicker at that time. And a quarterback that didn't understand that you can't throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage because that is intentional grounding when you're inside the pocket or outside the pocket. No, inside the pocket and the ball not getting up to the line of game. And it has to be a receiver in the area. So if the ball does fall, at least you can say it's incomplete pass. If you throw that ball and you're not outside of the quarterback pocket, right? And you throw that ball and that ball doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage, right? And it falls down at the line of scrimmage or south of it, not on it, but south. That's intentional grounding. That's a loss of downs. He did that like 3 or 4 fucking times in the Patriots game. It was intentional grounding. Then, of course, their horrible decision that they chose to do an onside kick, if I recall, and gave them the ball and they went down the field. We could have went to overtime, but they let them get down the field and just win the goddamn game. But that was this past season. This season's done now. We can move on. But the Patriots shouldn't have been at the Super Bowl. It should, in my opinion, been the Bills. The Broncos got by in the wild card round, no, the divisional round, when they claimed that Stephon Diggs didn't catch that ball. If I recall, it was not Stephon Diggs. That boy came from the Saints. He also came from Dallas. Brandon Cooks. When they say that boy didn't catch that ball, and he caught that ball. I'm sorry. He caught that ball. The same thing happened in the Patriots-Broncos game the following week. And they gave the Patriots, I think, the catch. So the Bills should have been in the Super Bowl or the Broncos if the Broncos would have had Bo Nix. I don't see. I knew the Patriots wasn't going to win. The Seattle Seahawks was a team all season long that was just a buzzsaw. Okay. And they were going to put 30 points on you, bare minimum. It was a buzzsaw team. When you got a high scoring team like that, they're hard to stop. They're hard to stop. The Panthers, got them in regular season, right? If I recall, the Panthers beat them. They got them. But, of course, that was a rainy game. No. The Panthers beat the Rams in the rain, not the Seattle Seahawks. But that was a rainy game. That was a very defensive game. The Panthers defense ain't no slouch, okay, depending on the situation. Very few teams can do what the Seattle Seahawks did. And if I'm Seattle, if I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm keeping the same exact team. There's a couple of pieces that's going to leave, but I'm keeping almost the identical team to try to run it back for a fourth Super Bowl appearance by the Seattle Seahawks. If my memory serves correctly, they went to 2. Russell Wilson 1-1. They should have won. They should have beat the Patriots. Marshawn Lynch. I'm sorry, Pete Carroll, was a horrible decision. You come from the Belichick tree, you all knew better, but whatever. I can see Seattle, if they keep the same team, same offensive mindset, the same defensive mindset, they can probably run it back again next season. But congrats to them. Nobody was shocked that this happened. A lot of Patriots fans are disappointed, but the Patriots shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl. That's Allen. Josh Allen got robbed in the Broncos game. I think if Josh Allen would have got past the Broncos game, they would have donkey punched the Patriots straight up. The Patriots beat them the first time, but the second time in the snow, it was a 1-1 tie or whatever. I think in the playoffs, because Josh Allen made it to the playoffs every year, minus the first 1 or 2 years he was the quarterback for the Bills. AFC championship rounds, divisional rounds, he's accustomed to that. And I believe if he would have been playing in the divisional round against the Patriots, not the Broncos, I think Josh Allen then would have made it to the goddamn, not the Broncos, the AFC championship round. If they would have got past the Broncos on that horrible ass call, they would have got past the Broncos in the AFC championship round, my money would be on the Bills to wax the Patriots. Bar none. Bar none. And I'm not going to talk about Sean McDermott being fired. I think that was just fucking stupid of the Bills. He didn't have the team that he needed to get to the Super Bowl. He technically did. He did better with the team that people expected him to do. I put it to you that way. And then they fire him, and then a whole bunch of shit with the Bills. And honestly, I don't see the Bills making it to the playoff next year. Matter of fact, I don't see the Bills or Kansas City making it to the playoff next year. Kansas City have a lot of internal issues as well. I know the draft isn't here yet. And a lot of times after the draft, people start to form their opinions about their team, especially in preseason, stuff like that. But I'm here to tell you right now, in this division, this upcoming season, the only team I'm going to be remotely worried about will be the Saints. The Panthers had that season, this past season, which did surprise me. But the Saints, that quarterback, slouch, that quarterback down there, he might be the next Drew Brees in the making in New Orleans. And us Falcon fans can't stand the Swampers, right? Those shrimpers down there. We can't stand them. However, I think the Bucks are going to be on a downward trend for a while because a lot of pressure is going to be on Todd Bowles down there to get it done. And I just don't see it. Then they took our OC that we just had down there, Zach Robinson down there. So I don't see the Bucks being the explosive team that they used to have when they had Brady and Bruce Arians. I just don't see it. And I think this can be the last couple of years for Baker Mayfield down there before Baker play patty cake somewhere else. I think the Panthers are going to have a major setback. I just do. The Falcons could have put the Panthers out of their misery, but once again, our quarterback got injured in that game, and no excuses, but that does change the complex of a lot of stuff. I don't see the Panthers doing what they did. Bryce Young had a couple of games last season, but he's not consistent. And this is his, third year? This is his third year. His third year, I think, this upcoming season. And I'm not seeing any substantial growth. The Saints are going to be a team to watch. And the Falcons, we have a new lease on life. Kurt's leaving, most likely. So whatever backup we get is going to dictate our future. Kevin Stefanski is a pretty decent coach. A lot of people ain't giving him no credit, but he's a pretty legit coach. So I'm a little bit optimistic about what's going to happen with the Falcons here this upcoming season. And I can talk about the entire NFL. I can tell you right now, the Ravens aren't going to do shit this upcoming season. The Steelers, first losing season is about to occur for the Steelers. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I understand that team, that fan base got tired of having winning records. I don't know why. And I understand that they wanted to go to the Super Bowl. It's hard to get to the Super Bowl. Everybody look at a coach's overall record. There are a lot of coaches sub 500 that made it to the Super Bowl. Whether they was offensive coaches, defensive coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinators, quarterback coach, running back coach. just because you have a losing record doesn't mean you can't make it to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. Okay. Raheem had two, one with the Bucks, one with the Rams as defensive coordinator and assistant head coach, I think, with the Bucks. Okay. No, he was his head coach here. He was the defensive coordinator there with the Bucks under Tom Gruden. John Gruden, not Todd, John Gruden, and he was out there with Sean McVay. But you can look at the overall record. Okay. There are coaches that may coach 3 years in the NFL, and they may win only 17 games, right? And then lose the remaining 34 games. Because it's 17 games per season. So you play 3 seasons, you lose 2 seasons. Let's say they just don't win shit and they go 17 wins, 0 losses, and then they belly up and go fucking 0 to 34. They didn't win no game for 2 years in a row, right? But that one season they were 17-0, they won Super Bowl. Or you can have a issue where a coach win 10 games, lose 7, then bounce back, win 7, lose 10. Now they're at 500. But they'll make it to the Super Bowl with a at 500 record, right? Or say they lose a game along the way, go south to 500, maybe 3 games south, right? But they had an overall winning record, made it to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. But the amount of wins they accumulated that year still gave them a sub 500 coaching record, but they had a winning season. So you can't just look at the overall and say that coach is a bad coach. It just depends on that season. It just depends on that season. So there are a lot more coaches in the NFL with a sub 500 record than those that have 500 records. And guess what? There are coaches with winning records, just like Mike Tomlin, that didn't make the Super Bowl, but twice. Yeah, twice and won one, if I recall. Sean McDermott's another one. The winning record. Got an outstanding record as a coach. Just can get to the Super Bowl. So, John Harbaugh's no. John won one Super Bowl, right? But all the seasons after that, he ain't made it back. And he had a winning record. I can keep going. I can name a whole bunch of them. Kyle Shanahan out there with the Niners, he has a winning record. Matt LaFleur has a winning record. No Super Bowl appearances. So it doesn't matter about the overall record. It matters that season. It matters the season. That's just the point. It matters the season. If Andy Reid doesn't retire in 3 years and they keep getting losing seasons, eventually that losing record is going to taint his winning record and his 3 Super Bowl wins. So I'm just saying. I'm going to keep my reservations about the rest of the NFL. There have been a lot of changes, coaching staff, GMs, and things like that. But I'm going to hold my assessments until preseason. I am kind of curious of what's going to happen in Texas with the Cowboys. Just because most of my family are Cowboy fans and I love to fuck with them. George Pickens might not be there. There's a lot going on in Dallas. A lot going on in Philly. The Giants might be the favorite to win that division this upcoming season because they do have John Harbaugh. If they can get Jackson Dart to stop getting concussions, they might be a legit situation. I don't think the Commanders going to do anything. Jaden Daniels done got a taste of injuries now in the NFL, and that can fuck with your mind mentally as a quarterback. They got to beef up that O-line. If I am Dan Quinn, I am trying to beef up that O-line for my quarterback. Otherwise, Jaden Daniels going to get tossed around again like a leaf blowing out there in the wind. Just saying. Now, enough about that. Once again, congrats to the Seattle Seahawks. I think we play the Seabirds this upcoming season. I got to check the schedule. But, of course, I'll be at the games because that's what season ticket holders and people like me do. Now, let's talk about the WWE. I'm not going to touch the Bad Bunny situation. He did awesome for his halftime show. I know a lot of people are upset about that, but Bad Bunny did awesome. I don't understand a lot of Spanish, some, not a lot. I'm from Texas, so that was part of the curriculum in school to learn some Spanish, especially high school. But you don't have to understand the lyrics to jam. I jam a lot of Japanese songs, anime songs. Don't understand hardly a lick. I know some Japanese. I'm married to an Asian. She don't even speak that, But I understand some. And it's not about so much me listening to the lyrics. It's the beat of the song. It's the music that make you dance. It's not so much the lyrics. It's the music. So with that being said, shout out to him. I had like 150 million people watching the halftime show. So shout out to Bad Bunny. I'm just glad Ice didn't show up to the NFL like they was boasting they would. And I'm gonna get to Trump here in a second. WWE. I did not watch the Royal Rumble. I did hear all of the shit that happened, the shenanigans with starting late and the forever going pyro down there in Saudi Arabia down there. I heard all of that shit, right? And the only thing I really want to talk about, I don't care about Gunther retiring AJ Styles. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about CM Punk retaining his belt against fucking what's his face, Finn Balor. Even though if anybody thought Finn was gonna take that title, Drew McIntyre keeping his title, like that all that was gonna happen. The winner of the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns. Okay. Because I don't know. I haven't watched SmackDown in a while. I don't know who's going after Drew McIntyre for his title. Okay. That's going to be decided. Matter of fact, Elimination Chamber that's coming up. Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I'm intrigued. CM Punk brought in Roman Reigns with the Nexus years ago. The original Nexus, that broke off and became the Shield. But the original Nexus had Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson, and it had Roman Reigns. It had Wade Barrett. Was it Drew McIntyre? I think was in there. I think what's his name, man? The Fiend brother, Bo Dallas was in there. Quite a few others. But then of course, Roman Reigns, the Nexus broke up. Dean Ambrose, and I think Seth Rollins. Yeah, they broke up and became the Shield. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And I think at the time, CM Punk pitched the idea about the Shield as well. Now, here's the caveat to all of that. Okay, Roman became a Paul Heyman guy. Brock Lesnar is a Heyman guy. Okay. Braun Breaker is a Heyman guy. CM Punk is a Heyman guy. And he brought up his historic title one that The Rock ended 434 days. The Rock ended that at what was that? WrestleMania. What was that? Let me get my numbers right. Oh Lord. I remember it was at MetLife. Or was that MetLife? He gave John Cena the belt. What's that? WrestleMania 30. It's been a while. Okay, 35, 38, 38. It's been a while. I want to say it was 39. Let me look. It's been a while. I remember. No, not 39. I gotta go back. Was it 32? No, that was Dallas. Okay, I was in Dallas. Yeah, that was Dallas. I was in New Orleans. That was 2018. I was 34. I gotta go back a little bit. It might have been 31. It's been a while. We're doing this in real time. No, that was San Francisco. Was it 29? 28 was Atlanta. 29. Okay, 29 was MetLife. That was MetLife. That was when John Cena beat The Rock. 30 was in New Orleans. I remember 30. I remember 28 was in Miami. That's when The Rock beat John Cena. And then 27 was Atlanta. Am I missing something? Was it 30? Good Lord. No, it wasn't 37. No, The Rock beat. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. The Rock beat CM Punk at the Royal Rumble. That's what it was. The Rock beat CM Punk at the Royal Rumble. And I think it was at the Royal Rumble. I'm looking at. I know you guys can't see. I think it was the Royal Rumble. Yes, it was the Royal Rumble. It was the Royal Rumble. Then The Rock went on to drop the belt to John Cena. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it was the Royal Rumble. It was the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry, you guys can say it was the Royal Rumble. And like I said, it's been so long. It's been fucking 13 years ago, but it was the Royal Rumble. I'm like, what's the resume? Because see, Rock fought Cena at 28 in Miami. He whooped Cena. Didn't see the blame. He couldn't. He lost his fucking wife. And then WrestleMania 29 in MetLife, that's when The Rock dropped the belt to Cena. And then The Rock rolled off. And then did sporadic pops-ups and all that shit. But anyway, he brought up his title run and then brought up that even though Roman Reigns is with fucking Paul Heyman and that he had it a lot longer with like 1,200 days or something, like 3 years plus, and that he did it longer doesn't mean he did it better. Like all them comparisons and shit, right? Ultimately, Roman Reigns chose CM Punk. But the question that I have on my mind is Roman going to dethrone CM Punk? And I just don't think so. I don't think so because if he does, is he going to put the bloodline back together without the wise man? Don't forget Seth Rollins is bound to return. And the only way I think Roman Reigns will beat CM Punk is if Seth Rollins come out there and put the stump on CM Punk. Because let's face it, Seth Rollins says he doesn't want Punk to be champion as long as he is in the company. So that would be the only way. Now, if that happens, could that be a new birth of a Shield? So unless Seth Rollins gets involved, I don't see Roman Reigns being CM Punk. Hell, Brock Lesnar might get involved and spear Roman Reigns, and that way Punk can keep the belt, and then you can set up a triple threat match the following pay-per-view, which normally would be Bad Blood, but I think they don't have Bad Blood anymore. Or No Mercy, no, it's Bad Blood, something like that. But I just don't see Roman Reigns dethroning CM Punk because CM Punk right now is high, and yes, Roman is the guy still, but CM Punk is he's still new on people's mind. He's a fresh champion. If you give it back to Roman Reigns, he's a tribal chief, and without the bloodline, he's not going to have the same impact. So I can see him maybe getting the belt later in the year, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe at Survivor Series. But I don't see him getting at WrestleMania. If they do, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, why? Excuse me. As far as Drew McIntyre goes, we'll find out who faces him after Elimination Chamber. Honestly, if you want to know the truth, I believe there are so many other great wrestlers in the WWE. I think LA Knight is long overdue, even though he's up in age. I would love to see him be WWE champion for at least a couple of months. I don't want to see Damian Priest. Who in the chamber? I haven't watched SmackDown, but I know. Let's see. It's going to be in the chamber. It's going to be in Chicago, CM Punk's hometown. Like I said, I'm not going to fucking watch it because I'm not prepared money for no ESPN app. Let's see. And we all know AJ Lee is going to beat fucking Becky Lynch. We know it's going to fucking happen. Okay, Finn Balor. He's going against Finn Balor. So yeah, Punk. Did Punk have a match? No, he didn't have a match at the Royal Rumble. That's right. He didn't have a match at the Royal Rumble. It's gonna be in Chicago at Finn Balor. Okay. Randy Orton versus LA Knight. Yeah, the Elimination Chamber. I don't see Randy Orton winning. I can see LA Knight probably winning this. I don't even see Rhea Ripley winning the women's Elimination Chamber. But if she does, I would love to see her go against Jade Cargill. Because that's who got the title. that she's going for. Liv Morgan is gonna go after the other chick. I can't think of her name. The Spanish chick that came out there. So I knew that's who she's going for, most likely. Most likely. But other than that, yeah, I'm not too keen. CM Punk's gonna retain. AJ Lee should beat Becky Lynch. That will set up the power couple, right? It'll set them up. And AJ Lee should hold the Intercontinental title for a while. I don't see her losing that belt until maybe Survivor Series or SummerSlam, because she's hot. She's a hot commodity. So I can see that. Punk beating Balor. I could see Jade Cargill fighting Rhea Ripley, but I don't see Rhea beating Jade Cargill unless Bianca Belair comes back, pops up, and then get involved in that match. Or maybe Naomi. Have Naomi had that baby yet? It's too soon. Maybe Naomi. That's the only way I can see Jay losing the belt. Bianca gonna have to get involved, or Naomi got to get involved, and then Rhea can steal the belt. I think Jay's gonna hold that belt for a while. So, but that's my thoughts right now on WWE. It ain't nothing else really intrigues me right now, storyline wise. I'm not really interested in the tag team division, nothing like that right now. It's nothing intriguing. So, let's talk about Donald Trump real quick. ICE is out of Minneapolis. I think a lot of got to do with Trump's failing percentage as president right now. Stock market's good. Everything's booming in the stock market, but people are still feeling the effects of the tariff wars. And we still don't know what's going on with Ukraine and Russia and all that bullshit. And then to top it all off, there are still a lot of unanswered questions about the Epstein list. Pam Bunny's been on a tirade, trying to use the Epstein list as a caveat to roast the Democrats when she was grilled on Capitol Hill here this past week. So it's a lot going on in the administration. I do know the MAGA right is pissed. But what are you going to do? Midterms coming up. And all I can say is the Republicans better hold on. They better hold on real fucking goddamn tight. Because at the end of the day, here's where it shapes up to be. Anything that Trump endorses is going to get a lot of pushback. I know a lot of Republicans want Trump to back them, but you guys got to look at history. You have to look at history. Okay. How many candidates have Trump backed that actually won? Not a lot. The win-loss ratio is lopsided. There's more losses than wins. Jasmine Crockett in Texas is going to have an issue trying to take that seat that's up right now. I can't think of the Republican that she's going against, but she's going to have a problem because Texas is a predominantly red state. And me being from Texas, I live in Georgia now, but me being from Texas, it's going to be hard to take a seat from a Republican in Texas. But she might have a fighting chance because of Greg Abbott in Texas. And the way they try to redistrict all those districts down there and make it hard on people to try to get out and vote and all that stupid bullshit. And also that horrific flooding that happened out in Kerrville, Texas, out there. That all those female campers got killed, those young girls got killed out there. That left a bad taste in Texans' mouths. And the way he answered that question about saying that they're a football state and all that fucking bullshit. So Jasmine Crockett could steal a Senate seat. I'm just saying. And that could start to sway Texas to being blue, which will set up the 2028 election, which a lot of people think Trump isn't trying to circumvent the Constitution. But I'm here to tell you, Trump doesn't want to give up power. The man is literally putting his names on buildings that he has no business putting his name on, as well as threatening the railroad companies about putting his names on the railroad trains and all this shit. Otherwise, he's not going to fund them. So I guess he wants this to be a communist nation, like how Hitler got his name on all the buildings over there, how Kim Jong-un got his names on buildings over there in North Korea. Those are communist fucking countries. This ain't a communist country. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the shit that he's doing is only to deflect people from not worrying about what's going on with Epstein. I don't think a lot of people really understand that no matter what happens now with the Epstein list, there's no charges that's going to come amongst the ones that's on the list. And the reason that is it wasn't no charges filed. Okay? It wasn't no charges filed. All those young girls that was fucked over, I put it that way, they had the opportunity to speak. I'm just going to be blunt with it. If they was underage and raped, they had the opportunity to tell. A lot of times women and males that are raped at a young age are afraid to tell because they are threatened with stuff. But I'm here to tell you guys, you gotta stop letting people that will do those things to you, then let you go to sit there and use fear as a way of you not saying anything. Money can entice you to keep your mouth shut. Okay. I can look at the R. Kelly situation and compare it to the Epstein situation. They're identical. R. Kelly was keeping young girls, talking to parents, getting young girls, promising record deals, keeping them, holding against their will, making them do all this nasty shit. And then the young girl still refused to go against R. Kelly. Why? Because he was paying them and paying the parents. So even if Trump did anything horrendous like that, I don't see anything that's going to come against him because it wasn't no original charges levied against him. But it fascinates me that with everything going on, people isn't turning a blind eye to the Epstein list. They want the Epstein. They want to know everything. That's a good thing. So there's hope for America. There's hope there. But I can tell you the midterms will be very interesting this cycle. And if Donald Trump wants to keep power, absolutely, Republicans, he's got to dial back the rhetoric. Straight up. He's going to dial back the rhetoric and stop saying the outlandish shit he's saying. But it's freedom of speech. But he got to dial back that rhetoric. Big time. If the Republicans want a fighting chance in hell against Democrats. Now, the Democrats can fuck it up because you got a lot of far left leaning motherfucking Democrats. I'm more centralist. I'm more down the middle. I look at both sides of the aisle. Without both sides, shit won't get done. But you got some far left leaning Democrats that is just trying their absolute best to overlook everything else that Trump has done that has been working. Okay. It's not a lot. The borders are a lot more stronger because of what Trump did. You gotta give him that. Stock markets are doing good. The man went to Venezuela and pretty much stole oil, but hey, look, gas prices going down. He'd have pulled back some emission mandates and shit like that, so we might get some back to a lot more ICE performing cars. That's internal combustion engine cars. Get back to some good power and less pussy prince cars, electric cars. Because I'm gonna be the first one to tell you this here. You gotta look at the whole globe. We're just one country. You think there's a lot of electric cars rolling around Saudi Arabia, India, Africa, Russia, North Korea? But there's a lot of countries out there. There aren't only EV shit. South America, are you kidding me? America's not going to save the whole world. Everything dies. The earth will eventually blow up. Everything dies. Everything. You can do everything right. I give you a prime example of this, right? You can do everything right. Right? You can have a good house in the middle of nowhere, not prone to tornadoes, not prone to hurricanes. Can't predict an earthquake though, can you? Next thing you know, here come an earthquake. Mother Nature done just wiped your whole house out. You moved away from the water, from hurricanes. You want to be in the plains, deal with a lot of tornadoes. You stand like I can pick a state. Tornadoes can happen anywhere, but they're less frequent in the north. So let's say Montana. Let's say you moved out to the big sky country of Montana, right? Let's say you moved up near Billings, near in the mountain areas. Let's just say you moved up there somewhere. They see tornadoes, but not that frequently, but they do. Okay, but it's rare. Like it's not a lot because of the jet stream, how the jet stream positions itself, all that bullshit. But let's say out the blue one day, a massive earthquake just hit, just knock your whole house on the foundation. You did everything right. You had your electric car, like you did everything right. Try to be the perfect person. And money say, nope, knock your fucking house down. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do everything right. We're trying to save the earth. Trying to do everything right. Trying to mandate people get electric cars. Mandate it. Like that's going to stop global warming. Like that's going to stop all those natural disasters. The earth knows how to ramp up weather to stabilize. And then once it stabilizes, the weather normally goes back to normal. It's called thunderstorms. It's called hurricanes. It's called snowstorms. That's why we get weather events. We get volcanic explosions because of what goes on in the Earth's fucking core and on fault lines and how earthquakes build new, not earthquake, but volcanic activity paved the way for new solid land. That shit has to happen. Hurricanes happen because of the environment. It needs to happen. That's how the earth balances itself out. You want to know something? You want to know what really causes global warming? See all these cities we have now, all these concrete roads we have. You know that retains heat at night, right? So over time, the normal temperature will rise at night, and that offset the average temperature over a long period of time. So when you have a lot of concrete holds more heat, especially around airports. You know what happens? You get daily fluctuating temperatures that might be a tad bit higher every year because we're more populated now. We got more homes now. Got more heat being kept near the ground surface. That doesn't mean, though, however, that the overall Earth itself is warming. But that's what the scientists are trying to say. Because they're taking all the cities and looking at all the heating factors and saying, hey, it was a lot warmer in Atlanta over the course of the last couple of years. But they're not understanding why. Population density. New roads. So they look at all of that phenomenon, and then they look at all the disasters that happen based on those phenomenons. And then they go, well, that means the Earth's temp must have rose by this much based on all these averages. Ice caps melt. It was colder than normal here this past few weeks. It was very cold up in the northern hemisphere this year. So all that global warming stuff, just to mandate some electric vehicles, everything dies. Remember that. Put money where it needs to go and not where it doesn't need to go. If you want to build electric cars, by all means. You want to build fucking usable solar panels, by all means. That's all good stuff. But trying to mandate shit like that? No. If the whole world isn't mandating shit, then we're not going to mandate shit. That's the way it should be. But I believe the Democrats have a legitimate chance of taking back the House. The Senate could be another story. If the Democrats get both the House and the Senate, Trump is fucked. He is royally fucked. He's royally fucked if they get the Senate and the Republicans keep the House. But it's more likely they can get the House, which the House controls the purse. The purse is the budget. A lot of other shit. Yes, the House does some legislation, but that's mainly dealt with in the Senate. That's where a lot of laws are drawn up, and then some of them have to pass the House and the Senate before it goes to the president's desk. And so the Senate is like, you got the Senate, you're pretty much legislating your ass off for America. You got the House, you're pretty much controlling the finances of America and dictating some legislation. So that's the Democrats want the House, but they should really want to get the Senate, but they may not get the Senate. So get out and vote midterms. Put your congressman and congresswoman in the Senate, or put your representative, man or female, in the House of Representatives. So get out and vote. I know I will. And let's see what happens up in Congress to round out 2026 to 2027. And then, of course, 2027, you start to ramp up for 2028 for the election itself. So it's going to be a doozy over the next couple of years. Let's talk about Dragon Ball real quick, and then I'm going to end it with Nancy Goldtree and a reaction real quick. You know, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. I really don't. And I listen to a lot of channels, a whole fucking bunch of channels. I don't understand why people don't get that Super and Daima has nothing to do with one another at all. The only thing Super and Daima have in common is that they tie back into Z. Everybody overthinks shit all the time. I'm going to say this again for the people in the back. Okay. I might make this a damn short, 3 minutes short. All right. GT will always be the original ending to Dragon Ball Z. Daima is the second ending because it ended before Super did. So it is the second ending to Dragon Ball Z. It is an alternate ending. Okay. Super is also an alternate ending to Dragon Ball Z. All right. All three of those are all a part of the original timeline. There are not no alternate timelines. If you want to watch GT, watch all of Z, okay? If you want to watch Daima, when the Boo fight ends, you pick up Daima till it ends. If you want to watch Super, when the Boo fight ends, you pick up Super. It's just if Z would have went this way in the timeline, it ends like this. It's an alternate ending. If Super would have went this way in a Daima, in this timeline to Daima, it would have ended this way. If Z stayed on course and ended the way that it did, then you get GT. But they take place in the same timeline. That's it. That's overthinking shit is why y'all get all these videos that make y'all look like fucking morons. Daima's not gonna tie back into Super at all. They took ideas from Super and put them in Daima, like with the Kais and how the Kais are born and who created the Demon Realm and all that other shit. They took ideas from GT and gave you Super, and they brought back Ranger 17. They gave the Super Saiyan God design. They took pictures and shit from Super Saiyan 4, the original, and gave you that Super Saiyan God is technically Super Saiyan 4 in Super. Okay. That's Whis asked how many transformations does Goku have. With Beerus asked Whis, and he was like, we got Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan Blue technically is Super Saiyan 5, and then Super Saiyan 6 is Ultra Instinct. Even though people don't think it's a technique, I mean, a transformation is more of a technique. All transformations are techniques. It's a technique that you use to transform. So Ultra Instinct is a technique that transforms Goku. He changes, right? His hair color changed, all that, but his body is just moving on instinct. He got a tremendous power boost because he's not restricting himself from thinking, right? That is indeed an internal transformation. It's a transformation. He went from offense to defense. He transitioned. That's a technique. That's a transformation. Now, I want you guys to understand something. They're redoing the Beerus arc, okay? And I've been thinking about this. I believe they're doing Super like this to get new viewers. All right. That's my only explanation. That they're doing it and actually naming each arc. This is Beerus. Gonna be 6 episodes. Now, if they're trying to do the Dragon Ball Z Kai shit, whatever. Have at it. But I think it's geared to get new viewers in. All right. I don't want you guys to think that Super Saiyan 4 is going to be on part Super, because it's not going to be on part Super. It doesn't fit into Super, nor do Super Saiyan 3. I watched the video. Matter of fact, I was watching, shout out to the league and NBA. I was watching NBA live stream yesterday, and he had a guy, he sounded Australian, and he was saying, well, that guy, they could take Super Saiyan 4 and tie it back in to fucking when Goku fought Beerus on Supreme on King Kai's planet. Why would they do that? Why would they give you a transformation that is exclusive only to Daima? Why would they take it and then put it into Super when we clearly heard Goku say Super Saiyan 3 is as high as he can go? Well, there's inconsistencies. No, because you're trying to tie it into Super. You can't tie it into Super, because if Daima's happening, Super never happened. If Super is happening, Daima never happened. You understand? If GT is happening, neither Daima or Super happened, because Daima and Super are both alternate endings to Z. GT will always be the original. Daima and Super are different endings. All canon. They all tie back into Z. They're all canon. They're all part of the same timeline. It's just, if I want my Daima, I pick it up and go here. Then it ends in this part of the timeline. Have Super and GT doesn't exist. They don't exist. If I want Super, Daima and GT doesn't exist. I'm gonna end Z this way. If I want GT, Super nor Daima exists. I'm gonna end Z this way. You guys are overthinking shit. That's why all your videos sound like complete headcanon made up bullshit. And I know you guys gonna say I'm wrong, and that's fine. I wasn't wrong about a lot of shit before. Just watch a lot of my videos. I wasn't wrong about a lot of shit because I'm not geeked them, and that's fine. Or I'm not Carthal, all the rest of those fucking cock blowing sons of bitches. I'm not Orvis's pie. You know, I'm not none of those guys. However, I'm not too gullible to believe all of the remakes is to tie in Daima. Daima ended. It says the end. That means it is done. Daima's not coming back. Super is still ongoing. There's a lot that still has to happen before Super can end. And I know you guys want that fly off shit, but guess what? It's not going to tie back into GT. It cannot tie back into GT. So that's why it's not going to be the same way. It's not going to end the same way. I predict Super is going to end a whole different way than how Z ended. It might end before the tournament. And then if they do it that way, guess what? You can get a continuation of Super that revolves around Oob and everything else going on past GT. It could be called Dragon Ball Ultimate, some shit like that. You got Super Ultimate. And you kill off Goku and Vegeta, they retire. Then you got Oob as a god running around doing this shit with the other warriors. If they give you the fly off shit, and they can still give you Ultimate, but it defeats the purpose. So for the guys in the back, for the final time, Daima and Super are all canon to Z. Daima, Super, and GT. They are all continuations of Z. They're all endings to Z. They all take place in the same timeline. Daima doesn't tie into GT. Daima doesn't tie into Super. Super doesn't tie into GT. GT doesn't tie into Daima. GT doesn't tie into Super or Daima. All three tie into Z. Every last one of them. GT picks up after the fight with Margin Boo. Way after the fight. Okay? After the World Martial Arts Tournament. Daima and Super pick up right pretty much at the same juncture after Kid Boo's defeated, or Margin Boo. And they go their own way in the same timeline, just which one you want to watch. It's that simple. When they released that timeline, Shueisha, a while back, and y'all peons couldn't figure it out, that's what they were trying to get you to understand. That's what they were trying to get you to understand. They're going to make a new one and put Daima right before Super. They're trying to get you guys to understand this takes place in the same timeline. They just go separate tangents. Don't believe me? Just watch. Now, Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped from her home a couple of weeks ago. That's Samantha Guthrie for that hosts NBC, the Good Morning America show, if I recall, NBC. I don't watch a lot. I used to, but long story short, I want to know, they arrested a Mexican. I'm just being blunt. Say his eyes match the camera. They already assume a Mexican took. To me, it looked like a big fat ass white man wearing a goddamn blonde clover. To me, no offense. I'm one to believe that it's someone close to the family. Okay. I'm one to believe there's gonna be someone that they know that they just ain't thinking hard enough about. Could be a friend, could be a family member, but most likely it's someone that they probably know. Hell, might be a gardener, might be one of the gardeners. They specifically went to that house. They know that that woman has issues. They claiming she ain't deceased yet. They got in relatively easy. I mean, it was blood. There's a struggle there. The houses are pretty far away, so neighbors likely didn't hear nothing, which sucks. That's the thing about being rich in a rich neighborhood. The houses are so far away from each other. So if something happens, the neighbor really don't know. Like we're not right beside. We're like acres, maybe a half mile up the fucking road, a tenth of a mile down the road, you know? So they got in, they took her. She's been missing. They're requesting Bitcoin, like, what the fuck? Bitcoin? Whatever. So to me, it seems like for them to request Bitcoin lets me know that it gotta be a friend or maybe a family member. Because if they request money wires and all this motherfucking shit, that's a little bit more intrusive. Okay. And Bitcoin is hard to track. You know, it's a little bit more wiggle room to avoid Bitcoin transfers and shit like that. Okay, it's an unstable market. I don't think she's that far away from where from her house. I believe she's within a 10-mile radius. That's me. I could be absolutely wrong. These are all my opinions. I believe within a 10-mile radius is where she's at. I really do. Because guess what? She's going to need certain medications. If you're too far away, how can you get it? So you go not that far from where she's been abducted. Make sure you can reach the pharmacist and this and that with their prescription, this and that. You go pick it up. She gets her medicine. Assuming she's alive, which they're claiming she is. If I'm the officers, I'm not going 40, 50 miles out. I'm going to be condensed within 10 miles, 15 at the most. I would check every nook and cranny because it's going to probably be a hotel or a safe house, but I would check every nook and cranny within a 15-mile radius. I know some criminals get off on seeing themselves on the news. I think if they go quiet with this and stop giving out so many updates, even if it's a friend of the family or a family member themselves, if they're not getting the exposure that they want, they lose interest. Now, bad things could happen because they're not getting the attention that they want. But some criminals get their jollies off. They wait for the update. That's why they send letters and shit. They wait for an update. If the FBI or TMZ, because they like to gossip, but you know, their owner's gay, so you know, Harvey, and no offense, but you know, most gay men and women likes to gossip. They like the drama. So that's why TMZ's been getting all of the scoop. And that's tabloid shit right there. TMZ, that's tabloid shit. So that right there lets me know that this criminal is getting their rocks off by keeping people on their fucking toes. But that can also set them up for failure. And if I'm the FBI, I'm not releasing everything I'm getting. I'm keeping radio silent. Because eventually that criminal will get frustrated, and guess what? Guess what happened? Shit'll start showing up. Just food for thought. I wish her well. I hope that whoever did it get the worst sentence possible. Firing squad. You know, you kidnapped a 80-some-year-old lady with heart issues. You should be taken out. That's the desert, Tucson. Gonzales, not that far. Nogales, what the fuck the little town? Nogales, down there on I-19, if I recall. You take that motherfucker out there and let the motherfucker go in the desert with some fucking rattlesnakes, some sidewinders and shit. And let that bitch get bit. And then dig a deep ass hole and let him just sit out there and burn and die. That's me. That motherfucker deserved that type of fucking torture. Chop his ass up into kibbles and bits and give him to the sharks. Anybody that does that to an elderly person, if kidnap and steal, but if they do something real bad, oh, they need to be dealt with immediately. They not a day should go by that they should continue to draw breath. They should be dealt with immediately with extreme prejudice. So I wish Nancy Goldtree well and her family. I hope this turns out to be a happy ending, and I hope whoever did it pays the worst price that they can pay, especially if this old lady dies. At that point, that life should be automatic forfeiture. That's just me, forfeiture. It should be forfeited. Period. I'm gonna end it with this, guys. So I seen something today on active self-protection. This is a sad story. All right, I want you guys to watch this. Okay, this is when fear can cause you to make a very costly mistake. Did you guys see what happened? Let me play this back just a little bit. Okay. I'll show you what happened. That's his wife. This guy came in and robbed the store. Okay. He got the first shot on him, right? Because he didn't have a round in the chamber like an idiot. First shot struck him, killed him. But he did the one most unthinkable thing that, and a lot of us, we're human, we do this. I'm guilty of it, being in a couple of firefights and everything in my life, from Iraq to stuff here stateside. But this is the one thing you shouldn't do. But it's instinct, but it's something that you don't do. You got a lot of cover here, just duck straight down. Keep your eyes on your target. That's something in the military. They teach us name, tag, defilade, especially in Humvees. But name, tag, defilade, and down is one of the things that you want to do to protect yourself. So it means you want to have some up armor, name, tag, defilade. Your head has a Kevlar on it a lot of times, but still, it's harder to hit this target than this target. So we aim for name, tag, defilade down, here down. Okay. So had he just, got down a little bit more, kind of protect his vitals, did that, ducked down, protecting himself. I believe that shot will deter the man with to leave, because no criminal want to be in a firefight. But instead, after he made that shot, he turned, shot again, and shot his wife. This angle, when he turned away, he was still firing. He was running. He turned his head, and that shot right there, he shot again while he's moving, dropped his wife. You see the window break over there. And see that shot. He's down. That shot right there is what hit her, because she's gonna drop now. She's gonna drop. So I say all that to say this here, guys. And I'm in the stream with that. I have a weapon. I pray to God that it doesn't come a time where I have to use it again. Okay. And when I mean again, I mean I go shooting, right? I shoot at targets. But taking a life is something that nobody will want to do or have to do. One thing about me is that's a choice that I have no problem making if the situation warrants it. No problem at all. I'm not saying it sound like I'm a hard ass. I understand everybody has their day. So when it comes to my life and my family life, I ain't got to sit there and hesitate, because that moment of hesitation, that complacency, is what causes a lot of us not to be here in certain situations like that. Fear is an amazing weapon if you harness it the right way. Fear will keep you alert. Fear will keep you hypervigilant. It's one of the reasons why you develop PTSD, like I did in the combat zone, because of fear. But it was the fear that kept me alive. I didn't want to fall asleep. You know, I walked on eggshells a lot. I made fear my weapon. Okay. My wife can shoot. She's a gun owner. Never, ever, ever take your eyes off your target, and never turn your head and shoot. Now, I have been known to duck down and try to shoot if I'm trying to get away and do shit. And I'm not saying committing crimes. What I'm saying is being in the military, going through, clearing houses and stuff. You're trying to, move. Or when you go to, even when you play paintball, you're trying to duck and do shit, right? You always want to hold steady. Hold steady. I've been doing a lot more of that as of late. Holding steady when I go to certain shooting ranges, and they have those certain kill houses and stuff like that. So you don't want to, I brought my tape. You don't want to turn your head when you can't see where you're spraying bullets at. That is a huge no-no. That's a huge no-no. And my heart goes out to that individual. If someone breaks into your house, have a plan. If you're out with your spouse, have a plan. With your kids, have a plan. If you're at Walmart, Walmart's prone to getting robbed and shot, have a plan. I know I do. I have a plan for everything. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I plan for every fucking thing. Okay. Rather be safe than sorry. Because I would hate for this to happen to anyone else. That's horrible. I seen it this morning. I'm like, no, I'm going to talk about that to end my stream. Well, this is going to be a fucking live premiere, not a stream. But it gave me something to reflect about. Life can end just like that. Stray bullets kill people daily. I just seen an incident here. I think it was in Gwinnett County, where a 17-year-old boy got killed. The dude was next door cleaning his weapon, and the weapon fired around to the next room. 17-year-old was shot and killed while playing this video game. Stray bullets, they don't have no destination. They don't have a particular target. They just go. Okay, there have been people sitting in their houses. Neighbor gun go off and go across the street, shoot right through the window and kill a person. It happens just like that. I have guns in this house, but they don't be loaded until it's time to go to sleep. And even then, when I load those fucks, you know what I keep them at? Out of the kids' eyesight. They can't even reach them. I know where they're at. And that's because I don't want no neglect where my child blow their brains out accidentally. So it's one of those things where you have to practice safety with guns. You have to look fear dead in the eye. Firefights are scary. They're scary. A lot of people give cops a hard time when they're running away, when they get shot at, call them scared cops. But let me tell you, if you never had a bullet whip past your head, or whiz past your fucking nose or do shit like that, you know, until you get that when you hear something sound like a fucking mosquito flying past, like a gnat flying past your fucking ear, and you feel the heat that shoot past your fucking ass, then you'll understand that's some hot lead. Don't nobody want to get shot. And I commend cops that stand and hold their position, okay, while advancing. In the military, that's why our flags are back, where they teach us to advance. I'm not calling myself a chicken. A few of us advanced and then had to advance back because the heat got so hot, right? So it's okay to find cover. It's okay to know how to shoot your weapon. It's not okay to shoot your weapon haphazardly and inadvertently kill an innocent bystander. That's the point of the video I'm trying to make. Put yourself in a situation to where if you shoot a round off while shooting at an individual and that round hits somebody else, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to face charges. You're going to face some serious charges. So if somebody's shooting at you, you better damn well be shooting back at them and not just flinging bullets down the fucking goddamn road doing this gang banging shit here like they normally do. Innocent bystander get killed, your ass is gonna pay for that. As far as this man goes, from what I've seen on John them channel on active self-protection, the prosecutor deemed it, the DA deemed the shooting lawful. Okay, it was armed robbery, but no word on what they're gonna do about him killing his wife. I'm pretty sure they're probably not gonna charge him because it wasn't an attempt to kill her. He was ducking down. She just got hit by unwanted fire, crossfire. And it could have been an adrenaline squeeze. He's trying to duck. He's shot, but now he's ducking. And his wife literally died. I was gonna say bit the bullet, and that's a horrible pun to say, but the bullet found her instead of just probably hitting the wall. Lord forbid, not striking anybody else. So it hit her, but not anybody else outside the store. Now, had that bullet hit somebody else outside the store, he might have been facing charges for neglect. The family would have probably went after him hard for neglect for discharging his weapon. Well, not neglect, but reckless firing of the weapon. Like there are certain charges they will just stick it to you just to say, hey, you fucked up. So all of us gun owners, be mindful of that. All of us self-carrying, I got a permit to carry because of my discharged military, my wife, all of us that carry our weapons concealed, not concealed. However, we carry those fucks out here in the state of Georgia because it's open carry out here. I can walk into Walmart with a gun on me. The gun is meant to protect. It's meant to be a defense weapon to deter and to stop a serious threat to your life or to anyone else's. A lot of us shouldn't have a gun because we don't know how to wield one. Okay. We got to get better with protecting ourselves without endangering the lives of our own loved ones or civilians or random people of that matter. So that's all I got, man. I hope you guys like this premiere. I should be back next week. This is my anniversary week once again, so I am going to be celebrating this weekend. I just had a busy week because of anniversary week. So I plan on being back next week and try to ramp back up some content and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this hour and 14-minute long premiere. And until next time, this being Savar Matner, I'm everyone. Have a good one. Peace.